Before I start, I just want to say a big thank you to the views of my video and my subscribers. I appreciate your time. And if anyone's viewing this now, if you'd like to hit the subscribe button, that'd be great. For this episode, I will be talking about Dr. Sleep, the follow-up to The Shining. For this bite-sized review, I will be talking about the director's cut, only found on the Dr. Sleep Blu-ray, which I didn't actually realise I had a director's cut on the movie until I got it last Monday, which I was pleasantly surprised with. Also for this review, I'll be just talking about the movie, Dr. Sleep, and, inevitably I'm going to be talking about a little bit about The Shining as well, because they kind of go together. But I will not be talking about the books or the differences or similarities, or they missed that out, they changed that. I won't be talking about any of that, mainly because I haven't read the books, so I'm not going to pretend to talk about something I have no knowledge about. Okay. Also, the one thing I will not be doing is I will not be putting any spoilers, no major spoilers, on this video. I don't believe in spoilers. I think they ruin everything. So I'm going to do my best to try and avoid any major spoilers. So worry not. You can watch this without worrying. Now, with all that said and out of the way, my name is Jay, and this is my opinion. It seems appropriate with this video to start by talking a little bit about The Shining. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining was one of my all-time favourite horror movies. The haunted corridors of the Overlook Hotel, not to mention the amazing and chilling performance by Jack Nicholson, left me traumatised and entertained as a youngster. Not to mention the mess it made in my underwear. Not really. The beginning of Dr. Sleep deals with the aftermath of the events of The Shining. I got a massive kick out of this part of the movie because you get to revisit the old characters as you remember them from The Shining. Granted, they're played by different actors, but the characters are still there. And you get to see the Overlook Hotel painstakingly recreated for this movie. And the attention to detail was pretty damn impressive. As one of many tributes to The Shining, the scene of Dan on his tricycle being followed by the Steadicam going through the corridors of the Overlook Hotel, that was recreated rather well. Yeah, it had a little bit of a twist to it. It wasn't exactly as it was in The Shining, because we don't want to see the same thing again, but the tribute was there. And for those that know The Shining, if you don't know The Shining, why would you be watching this movie? But those who saw that would probably enjoy it. The main portion of the movie is a grown-up Dan Torrance, played by Ewan McGregor, literally running away from his childhood trauma, and trying to find his place in the world. Something that surprised me about this part of the movie was exactly why Dan Torrance was called Dr. Sleep. I always thought the title was a bit strange, but when you find out how he gets that name and why he gets that name, it really pulled on my heartstrings. It hit me in the feels. I don't know, maybe I'm getting old, soft in my old age, I don't know. But it was a surprisingly heartfelt moment in a movie I really wasn't expecting. Dan Torrance develops a psychic connection with a teenage girl named Abra. Abracadabra. Watch the movie, you'll get it. And when they communicate, it allows for some great visuals, some good sound effects when they communicate with their otherworldly powers. Ooh. So with Dan Torrance and Abra set up as the heroes, with little bunny ears, heroes of the movie, a good movie wouldn't be anything without a villain. And the villains are a group or cult of long-lived psychics who feed on the shine, the shine of their victims, so other psychics. Again, this isn't a spoiler, or maybe just a small one. The leader of this cult is a character called Rose, played by Rebecca Ferguson. Anyway, Anyway, staying on subject, she plays a villainous role with depth and subtleties that were unexpected and surprising, but also very, very welcomed for this movie. She gets a lot of screen time, which is not a bad thing, as she is easy on the eyes. But her role as Rose was very, very good. So with these three parties now established, you've got Dan Torrance, Abra, and this cult led by Rose. When they do finally meet and when they do clash in the latter half of the movie, it really does propel the story forward. It takes a long time to get to it, but when it does happen, it propels the story forward rather effectively, and to the inevitable conclusion and finale, which I will not ruin. You have to watch it for yourself. At 3 hours long, Doctor Sleep is the epitome of the slow burn. There's a lot of time to get to know these characters and to invest in the world that the movie has created. With The Shining, that can now be seen as a starting off point, and Doctor Sleep expanding the world and expanding the story, the possibility of making sequels, prequels and spin-offs, I reckon are pretty tempting for the studios at this point. I personally hope they don't do it. While I love sequels and I love continuations, I think in this case, enough is enough, and some mysteries are best left unresolved. And leave the audience wanting more. If you like this movie, you're going to want to see more, but I really hope we don't get it, because it can ruin it. As a little side note about the structure of the movie, it's actually divided into 6 chapters, which I found quite interesting. So it's literally about 2 chapters an hour. Yeah, 2 chapters, 1 hour, 3 hours, 6 chapters, basic maths. But you could literally break the story down episodically for like a TV series. I don't know, it's just a weird observation. Yeah, some might find it interesting. Some might say, you should have cut this bit out, Jay. Probably the only real negative thing I can say, or will say, about this movie, because I did enjoy it very much, was it just wasn't scary. I just didn't find it scary. It may seem crazy to some people. Some people may actually have changed their underwear midway while watching this movie, but I didn't find it particularly scary. And from Mike Flanagan, who created the Haunting of Hill House series from 2019, I absolutely loved that. That scared the bejesus out of me. It really, really did. And it still does. Rewatching it, it still scares me even now. So my expectations for this was, oh my God, I'm going to need to bring a drawer full of underwear with me to watch this. But I was a little bit underwhelmed by the scares. Or maybe I'm just a bit desensitized. I've seen a lot of movies over the years. I've got a few decades of movies behind me. So maybe I'm just getting a little bit desensitized in my old age. So to kind of wrap things up a little bit, on the whole, Doctor Sleep was a very good movie. I very much enjoyed watching it the other day. It's got great visuals, it's got a great cast and acting, it's a continuation of the story of The Shining and expanding it further, which is what a good sequel should do. Returning characters, no spoilers, there are returning characters. And some obvious tributes to The Shining, which I absolutely love. If you can get past the length of the director's cut, the 3 hours, it is a bum number, I will warn you, and the not so scary scares, in my opinion, Doctor Sleep is a chilling and haunting, literally, movie that is a worthy follow-up to Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece, The Shining. Now, with all that being said, my name is Jay, and that was my opinion.